was early in the spring, and I told John, I think like the next step for us is to become more comfortable with touch. And he's like, yes, absolutely, I got it. And so here's we arranged chairs, and you were sitting in a chair. So not a desk, but sitting in a chair. And basically it would be like you and I sitting almost knees touching each other. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we're both in a chair facing each other, right? Which already is kind of awkward. And Johnny's like, okay, I got a timer here, right? Here's what we're going to do next is we are going to engage in eye to eye, contact without talking, right? There's probably going to be some giggles because it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but we're not going to be speaking, and we're going to try not to break the eye contact that we have. So sustained eye contact, we're going to go for 60 seconds. Mm-hmm. And the kids are like, oh man, right? It's just like, looking away. Okay. All right, here we go. And we lock eyes, right? And of course we're giggling. And sometimes the boys are also doing stuff to make it silly, right? To be a little bit of a challenge. And so, all right, it works, it doesn't work. That was step one.
Yeah.
And then step two was with your same person, you got out of the chairs and you stood back to back and you leaned a little bit against them. I don't know if you've probably done stuff like this. I had not. And so you would lean back to back, and then you would try and sync up your breathing. And so I would feel your inhale and I would inhale at the same time. I would feel your exhale and exhale at the same time. And we did that for several minutes. And Johnny and I were paired together. And, sometimes when you have like the leaders breathing a little bit louder, it makes it easier for you to breathe a little bit louder. All right. So that activity was that activity. We reflect on that. And then we go back into our chairs. And we're like, okay, now we're going to do the eye contact again. And for 60 more seconds. And so sets the timer. And even though there were still giggles, there was a very different presence in the room.
Yeah.
But then when the boys talked about it, they were like, okay, some of us were still giggling. But after the physical contact, like the eye contact was no longer strange. It was no longer something that you wanted to avoid. So the first time you did it, you wanted to avoid it.
Yeah.
But then after the breathing and the back to back, it kind of normalized it. And which is just so fascinating that now all of a sudden, because of that activity, it's a little bit easier to maintain eye contact. Is just amazing. And then we took it one step further with like real hugs, not this big dap slap on the back kind of thing, but a real hug. Mm-hmm. And because we got freshmen through seniors, you got kids who are really tall and kids who are not so tall, kids with long arms and not so long arms. And there are several of these boys who they just started to get really good at getting and receiving hugs. Now, I'm going to fast forward about 4 weeks later.
Yeah.
We had state testing going on, so we were missing a lot of 10th graders, and we had the largest group of 10th graders. So the check-in and the affirmations at the beginning was, I think we only had maybe like 11 boys that day, or maybe even like 10 boys that day. And so the check-in, because there was more time, became more nuanced. The boys being slow, really talking about how they're feeling physically, really talking about their thoughts and their emotions. And it's coming around, and one junior is sharing, and the junior next to him says, "Would you like a hug?" And he goes, "Yeah." And they give each other, they're sitting down in chairs and they give each other hugs. Ashanti, that would not have happened. And so like the courage to ask the question, the courage to say yes. But the reason the question was asked and the reason that it was answered with a yes is because we're starting to feel that this is healthy, that it's positive, and that it's something that we can do for each other. So I teach 9th graders, and in my 6th period class, this is so great. I come like, I'm getting stuff ready in class, and there's 20 students in that class period, and 3 of the boys who were part of the program are in that class, and they're all in like a big bear hug. They're all just they're all like in this big bear hug together, and kids are like, "This is crazy. What is going on?" They're like, "Oh, we're just giving hugs right now." Right. It's unbelievable. And so I was talking with someone who I met this weekend who is a counselor at Elyria Schools, which is, pretty close to us. And he's like, and I'm telling him some of these stories, and he's like, one of the reasons why it's probably taken off for you all is that Oberlin is already kind of a different place. Right. And so when you were talking about the challenges with middle school, yes, absolutely. Like people who like good middle school teachers, I worship you because that I could not do that. But this thing has taken off because I think we selected the right group of kids to help redefine or reestablish what is normal. And this is a part of what it means to be normal. And now when we bump it up to 30 kids next year, we can have more kids who maybe this year would be like, no, thanks, this is too corny. But we got enough kids, we have enough of a critical mass who are like, yeah, it may seem corny a little bit at first, but it feels right. It feels good, and you're being seen and heard. And this is a supportive place. And who's like, we're not going to knock that. There's no way. It's just too good.